Good morning, we are Jennifer Polquero and Patricia Kvick, and we are going to present you our project about ecotourism. We are going to talk about the concept of ecotourism, its definition, principles and types, the ecotourism philosophy, the International Ecotourism Society, as well as some real cases, Cambodia, Antarctica and Costa Rica.
Ecotourism is defined as responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. Education is meant to be inclusive of both staff and guests. Ecotourism is about conservation, communities, and sustainable travel. This means that those who participate in marketing ecotourism activities should adopt the following ecotourism principles: minimize physical, social, behavioral, and physiological impacts. Build environmental and cultural awareness and respect. Provide positive experiences for both visitors and hosts. Provide direct financial benefits for conservation. Generate financial benefits for both local people and private industry. Deliver memorable interpretative experiences to visitors that help raise sensitivity to host countries' political, environmental, and social climates. Design, construct, and operate low-impact facilities, and recognize the rights and spiritual beliefs of the indigenous people in your community, and work in partnership with them to create empowerment. To sum up, ecotourism has three main goals. In the first place, providing effective economic incentives for conserving and enhancing biocultural diversity and helping protect the natural and cultural heritage of our beautiful planet. Secondly, it is an effective vehicle for empowering local communities around the world to fight against poverty and to achieve sustainable development. The last aim is to promote greater understanding and appreciation for nature, local society, and culture.
There are two types of ecotourism. The first one, hard ecotourism, which is characterized by small groups of dedicated environmentalists, FITs, free and independent travelers, who seek mentally and physically challenging experiences within non-serviced wilderness settings. In the second place, soft ecotourism, which in contrast involves larger numbers of visitors congregating in sites that provide extensive services and facilities, but only a superficial encounter with nature.
Ecotourism is not only based on nature and protected space. To practice ecotourism, you don't really need to be in full contact with nature and in a protected area, adding that using this concept is not entirely correct, because this refers to places that have not been altered by the hand of man, and that is practically impossible. For this reason, ecotourism is based on enjoying and supporting natural areas protected by man, even though they have been minimally altered. The necessary economic dimension of the place must also be taken into account. Ecotourism cannot be carried out without wanting to promote the economy.
The International Ecotourism Society, TIES, is a non-profit organization dedicated to promote ecotourism. Founded in 1990, TIES has been on the forefront of the development of ecotourism, providing guidelines and standards, training, technical assistance, and educational resources. TIES's global network of ecotourism professionals and travelers is leading the efforts to make tourism a viable tool for conservation, protection of biocultural diversity, and sustainable community development. Through all these years, TIES has developed a variety of projects. For example, the Vietnam Coastal Biodiversity Support Program in 2004, Sustainable Tourism in Northern and Central Montenegro project, Ecotourism, a tool for development in Ukraine in 2005, ecotourism and sustainable development in El Salvador in 2008, and so on. As places around the world begin to disappear forever due to environmental changes, ecotourism is becoming more popular and important than ever. Ecotourism destinations not only allow travelers to see some of the most extreme and beautiful natural wonders around the world, they also ensure that travelers do so responsibly. Often, the money pumped into an economy by tourists is then put back into preserving and conserving its natural environment. The environment in Cambodia has taken a real beating over the years. It is considered one of the most vulnerable countries in Asia by environmental activists and experts. High canopy rainforest that once covered much of the country has been decimated by legal and illegal logging. To give you an idea of the scale of this, in 1970, Cambodia was 70% primary rainforest. By 2007, it was 3.1% primary rainforest.
In 2016, Cambodia started working on a law based on ecotourism. This law was mainly intended to favor the tourism sector, since the intention was to attract new visitors who want to discover and enjoy the natural charms of Cambodia, also improve the conservation of natural spaces. Cambodia tends to attract families and couples, and they enjoy the dense vegetation, bird watching, boat trips along the rivers of Cambodia, and tours to discover the flora and fauna. There are many well-known ecotourism experiences in Cambodia, such as visiting the Cardamom Mountains, learning about the negative effects of elephant tourism in Mondulkiri, helping feeding endangered and rare wildlife in the Nom Tamau Wildlife Rescue Center, and participating in rural discovery tours.
Antarctica has been witness to the continued growth of tourism. This expansion of tourism presents unique business and educational opportunities, but it is also putting pressure on the natural environment, so it is necessary to maintain control. Therefore, first, they evaluate the effectiveness of the guidelines for tourist visits on the Barrientos Island, one of the most popular areas of Antarctica, and then they study how tourism is affecting the biodiversity and environment of that place and how the guidelines are helping to control those impacts. Ecotourism in Antarctica aims to allow tourists to explore, experience, and utilize Antarctica without having adverse effects on the environment. Most companies now claim to be eco and responsible. There are guidelines which should be used by tour operators in Antarctica to ensure trips are responsible and sustainable. The environmental protocol designates Antarctica as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science. It seeks to ensure that human activities, including tourism, do not have adverse impacts on the Antarctic environment. When visiting Antarctica, operators should notify the authorities in advance of activities in Antarctica, conduct an environmental assessment, respect scientific research and the environment, and prevent disposal and discharge of prohibited waste. The most remarkable ecotourism experiences in Antarctica are navigating the Drake Passage, hike the South Shetland Islands, watch for whales in the Le Maire Channel, and camp out in the cold.
Costa Rica has been ranked among the world's best ecotourism destinations on more than one occasion. It was one of the earliest adopters of connecting nature or wildlife conservation with responsible travel. It became the first country in Americas to ban hunting in 2012. Costa Rica has devoted an estimated 26% of its land to national parks, wildlife reserves, and protected lands. In addition to the rainforests, there are breathtaking volcanoes and pristine beaches, both of which add to the stunning biodiversity in the country. On top of that, you'll find here many eco-friendly accommodations. Manuel Antonio National Park and Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve are viewed as models for ecotourism and sustainable development. These parks offer critical habitat to various plant and animal species. The major reason for ecotourism's success in Costa Rica goes to the active participation of the private sector, exceptional biodiversity, and the interaction between the comprehensive protected areas network. The international and national NGOs, local business, natives, and government organizations also play a major part in the success of the ecotourism programs. Ecotourism practices in Costa Rica have helped minimize adverse effects of traditional tourism on the natural environment, created awareness, provided financial benefits to the local communities, and have facilitated in building the environment.